Okay, so now it is the turn of another October-November exam paper. This is again full exam paper, and this is variant 1-2. Initially we did variant 1-2. Now it is variant 1-3. So what examiner does is he gives some common questions in all variants. For example, in variant 1-1, 1-2 or 1-3, some questions may be exactly same and some questions may be different. And examiner is not bound to give different questions. He may give exactly same questions in all variants as well. So because examiner is not bound to do that, since syllabus is entirely same for all papers. So starting with question number 1, why do consumers have to make choices when spending their income? They have to make choices when their resources are limited. Consumers' wants cannot all be satisfied with their income. It means their income is or resources are low, basically less, and they cannot satisfy all needs and wants. So they have to make choices. Choices mean if you choose one thing, you have to sacrifice something else. What is the key role of entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is the person who takes the risk. So B is answer. It is the definition of entrepreneur. The diagram shows production possibility curve of an economy producing at point X. This is the point where his producer is producing 180 units of consumer goods and 70 units of capital goods. What would be the opportunity cost of moving from point X to producing only consumer good? Mean we move from point X to this point where we are producing entirely 240 units of consumer goods, but at this point Y good will be 0. When we produce 240 units of X, that is consumer good, capital good is 0. So it means from moving from point A X to, let's suppose, point A, we are sacrificing this much quantity of capital goods, which is sacrificed in opportunity cost is 70 units of capital goods. So B is correct answer. Economics is divided into micro and macroeconomics. Statement 1 is when the price of oil falls, there is expansion in demand. Statement 2 is the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, can influence the price of oil. Which combination correctly describes these two statements? Both of the statements are relevant to microeconomics because both are explaining the demand, individual demand and individual supply. So both statements are microeconomic statements. So option D is correct answer. Okay, so question number 5 is what is a disadvantage of a market economic system? Market economic system is a system which is under the private ownership. So C is correct answer for this question. Market dominance by firms can lead to higher prices. So when one firm dominates the industry, the market, then it may charge higher prices. Question number 6 is the diagram shows the demand curve for coffee in USA. This is demand curve. Why did the quantity demand move from Q1 to Q2? So we have to basically find this change. So we are moving from point A to B, suppose, and here quantity is increasing and price is decreasing. Okay, so the correct answer is coffee becomes cheaper, mean its price is decreasing. So 6 answer is A. Question number 7 is in an African country with large areas of tropical desert, the price elasticity of demand for salt is highly inelastic. This will result in greater consumer expenditure on salt when price changes from P1 to P2. Which diagram illustrates this situation? So the situation is if price increases from P1 to P2, in all cases price is increasing from P1 to P2. You can see it, price is increasing. So we have to find out the scenario in which consumer expenditure, total expenditure, will also rise. So it happens in case of inelastic demand. When price increases, total expenditure of the consumer and total revenue of the firms will rise. It happens because when demand is inelastic, it means rise in price will lead to smaller fall in quantity demand. So this is correct in option D, where demand curve is steeper. When demand curve is steeper, it means change in price will be greater and change in quantity will be smaller. So as a result, rise in price will lead to rise in total expenditure. And question number 8 says, in which occupation would wages tend to increase? Option C is correct answer. In those where there is an excess demand for labor, mean there is shortage of labor, demand for workers is greater than the supply of workers. So less people are available and demand is high, so wage rate will increase. And question number 9 is, which row shows a characteristic of money and a function of money? So option A is correct answer. Acceptability is the characteristic or feature, and function will be medium of exchange. When money is generally accepted as a medium of exchange, we can use it to purchase goods and services. So A is correct answer. Question number 10 says, the table shows how household spending changes with income. What is the lowest level of income at which saving is positive? So saving is equal to income minus spending or consumption. So we have income 3000 minus 150 is negative saving. Here again negative saving, here saving will be positive, that is equal to 100. So 3600 is the lowest level of income where saving is positive. Saving is positive in all these regions, but 3600 is the lowest level. Okay, so question number 11 says, what can a central bank increase in order to reduce consumer borrowing? Consumer borrowing mean why people get loans from financial institution. The rate of interest will reduce borrowing, because when interest rate is high, people will save more and they will get less loans from financial institutions, because getting loan will be expensive. Question number 12 says, the table shows the total cost of the firm X at each level of output, and at which level of output does total variable cost exceed total fixed cost? So you can see fixed cost in this question is equal to 3, because fixed cost is the cost which we have to pay at 0 level of output. So output is 0, we have to pay $3 fixed cost, so this is fixed cost. And variable cost at different levels of output will be, variable cost is equal to total cost minus fixed cost, total cost minus fixed cost. So total cost is 5 at level of output 1, so 5 minus 3 is equal to 2. So variable cost is 2 when output is 1, variable cost will be 3 when output is 2, variable cost will be more than 3, that is 6 when output is 3. So 3 is the correct answer, because at output 3 units variable cost is 6, which exceeds the fixed cost, that is 3. Okay, so question number 13, a firm has fixed cost $1000. The table shows variable cost at different levels of output, and this is variable cost basically. And you can find out total cost by adding fixed cost and variable cost. Total cost is basically equal to fixed cost plus variable cost. Fixed cost is $1000, so 1000 plus 100 is equal to 1100, 1190, 1270, 1350. Okay, so these are different cost level at total cost at different levels of output. If the goods are sold for 500 each, how much profit will be made from the sale of 4 units? So if we sell 4 units and charge 500 price, then 4 into 500 will give us 2000. So this is total revenue. Total revenue is the sales revenue or quantity, that is basically the revenue that is achieved or income that is achieved by selling certain quantity. Okay, so total revenue is 2000. So profit, formula for profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost. If total revenue is 2000 at 4 units of output and total cost is 1350, so minus 1350 will give us 650. So option A is correct answer. Question number 14 says, which combination is usually found in monopoly? Monopoly is the form which is single seller. So you can see single seller is here and only single seller is shown in this option. So B option is correct, and there will be definitely many buyers. Like in Pakistan, WAPDA is a monopoly, that is single seller of electricity in Pakistan. Question number 15 is, what is usually considered to be advantage to a form of division of labor? Mean, when you divide labor, what is the advantage? It increases increased mechanization is basically advantage. Mean, we will be able to use better technology, machinery and tools through division of labor. Division of labor is basically a result of specialization when one person performs one task. 16. What are two aims that a government normally pursues when managing the performance of whole economy? Mean, it is talking about aggregate economy, overall economy. Option A is correct answer, to encourage an increase in production and prevent high inflation. Okay, so this is macroeconomic issue. Number 17. What is most likely to be the responsibility of central government? Central government basically has responsibility for the provision of immigration officials at an airport. So option A is correct answer. Immigration officials basically take care of the people coming into the country and leaving the country, and it makes sure that everything is done as per the legal requirements. Question number 18 is, the government decreased the tax on all goods produced in its country. What is the most likely consequence of this? If tax on goods and services is reduced, then production will rise because the producers will be able to produce more, so production will increase. So this is indirect tax. Indirect tax affects production and supply. Question number 19 is, which government policy measure would cause an increase in country's supply of labor? Supply of labor increases if we raise the age of retirement. For example, if workers were initially retired at the age of 60, now we increase it to the 65, then it means the same labor force will be able to work for more 5 years. So as a result, supply of labor will increase, mean availability of labor will increase. Question number 20 is, due to a rise in the number of retired people, there has been an increased demand for some government expenditure. Which type of government expenditure is most likely to be directly affected? Option B is correct answer. Health services will increase because why it happens? Because there is a rise in number of retired people, mean old age people are more, so they have more health concerns and health issues, so health expenditure will rise. The diagram shows Italy's unemployment rate and GDP per capita. This is GDP per capita, this is unemployment rate. When do Italy's unemployment rate and GDP per head rise at the same time? And it is observed in option B, 2007 to 2008. In 2007, let's say this is 2007, you can see that unemployment rate is going upward, and this will be again 2007. This will be this is 2006, then this will be 2007. You can see it is still increasing. So GDP is increasing and unemployment is also increasing between 2007 and 2008. So B is correct answer. An economy is experiencing rising prices. Which government policy will help reduce consumer expenditure? Okay, introducing compulsory savings for income earners. This will reduce consumer spending or expenditure, because when it is compulsory or people are forced to save money, then definitely they will spend less. 23 is, some goods take a greater percentage of a typical household total spending than others. How is this accounted for in the construction of consumer price index? Consumer price index is calculated to find out the rate of inflation, and when we are basically having a look on what percentage of one person is spending on one product and on another product, this is basically given the name of weight. So weightage, by giving a weight to the goods. Weight shows basically expenditure pattern, mean how much income is spent by each individual on different product. So for example, one person may be spending more on food, other may be spending more on accommodation. So the person who spends more on food is giving more weightage to food, and the person who gives more who spends more on accommodation, he is giving more weightage to accommodation. 24. One of the indicators of living standard is Human Development Index. What is not taken into consideration when calculating HDI? HDI does not consider basically the level of savings. It considers in education, it considers income per head and life expectancy, but it does not consider saving. So this is the fact, you will have to keep it in mind. 25 is which factor is the world's low income countries limit their economic development. So what is basically which limits or which prevents economic development in low income countries? So economic development refers to rise in real GDP per capita along with better quality of life or standard of living. So rapid population growth, that is option D, is basically the thing that limits economic growth in such countries. And GDP per capita is calculated as total GDP of the country divided by total population. When denominator is increasing rapidly, it means the average will be low, and when average is low, it means GDP per capita will be low, and when GDP per capita is low, economic development will not take place. So 25 D is correct answer. 26. The table shows the percentage employment in primary, secondary and service sector in 4 different countries. Which country is likely to be most developed? Most developed means most rich country, and rich countries basically mainly rely on service sector. So option A is correct answer because service sector is given more importance in option A, and secondary is less important as compared to the tertiary, and primary is least important. And if an examiner asks about most developing country, then the result will be different because service sector would be least, then secondary sector and tertiary sector, primary sector will be most important. So in this question, option A is correct answer. Question number 27 says, what would not be included in current account of balance of payment? Current account of balance of payment basically includes trade and goods, it includes trade and services, it includes income flow, and it includes current transfers. So these are 4 items which are included in current account. We have to identify which one is not included in it. So purchase of house in another country is not the part of current account, so it will not be included in it. Okay, so like dividend earned from foreign from a firm in other country is basically the part of income flows. Import of television is trade in goods, and rent paid to owners of land in another country will be also be an income inflow or outflow. Okay, so option C was correct answer. Purchase of house is not included in current account. 28 is what is most likely to discourage international specialization and trade for an economy. Okay, so most likely to discourage increasing trade barriers. If we increase trade barriers, then definitely specialization at international level will be discouraged, because people know that if they produce more, they cannot export to other countries, or if they need something from other countries, then they cannot import them. So trade barriers, increasing barriers will basically discourage international specialization. Is when you focus on one product for which you are best at, and you produce in greater quantity and you can export to other countries. But when there are trade barriers, you cannot import goods from other countries, so you will avoid becoming specialized. You will try to produce everything you need, so you try to become self-sufficient. 29. Many low-income countries rely on multinational companies to provide economic development. What is disadvantage of this for the low-income countries? When multinational companies come into a country, especially low-income countries, then it affects local firms because they close down because of multinational companies. Since multinational companies are more efficient and they produce better quality at low cost, so they dominate the industry and local firms will have to shut down. And multinational companies like Lever Brothers, like McDonald's, KFC, these are multinational companies. Question number 30 is, the diagram shows the value of of a country's exports and imports of goods over 5 years. Import of goods is shown with filled area, export of goods is shown with blank area. So you can see in year 1 exports are more than imports, so we are already in surplus. We are in surplus here, surplus here, surplus here, surplus here. So all years from 1 to 5 are showing that current account is in surplus. Between which 2 years did the country have an increase in the value of imports and an improvement in balance of trade in goods? Improvement in balance of trade mean that balance of trade is going into positive area, exports would be greater than imports. So 3 and 4 years are basically the years in which this statement is true, because imports are the highest during these years, but still exports are more than imports. Also imports, value of imports increased a lot, but still we are in surplus. So 2 and 3 and 4 are the correct answer. So option C is correct answer. At the end, I would again suggest you to go to the description. It contains 2 main important links. One is link for the books I have compiled for all of you. You can benefit from them and you can order online, and the other link contains the complete playlist of O-level MCQs. You can copy it and you can paste it in your Word file, and you can basically just paste it in YouTube whenever you want to watch these videos. And these videos are definitely arranged topically, and at the end you will find yearly papers, which are the recent most papers. And at the end, I would also like to let you know that I would be conducting an online as well as a physical on-campus class on 30th July for the quick revision of entire syllabus, and I will be basically discussing topical MCQs, and at the end we will be doing some yearly papers as well. So 30th July, Friday, is an important day. You can keep in mind I would be conducting online class. It would be a Zoom class. You can join online or you can join physically on campus classes. If you're from Islamabad or Rawalpindi, you can join me in Asatz Academy F8 Islamabad. So this is it. See you in the next lesson. Thank you.